Hello and welcome, everyone, to episode 58 of Aravaipa Trail Talk. I am today joined by Jubilee Paige, our race director for the Whiskey Basin Trail Runs, and today we're talking all things Whiskey Basin coming up next month.
Fantastic.
We'll play an intro.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks, Jam. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
We are going to talk about Whiskey Basin. It is coming up, and it is one of my favorite events of the year.
Yep.
I love Prescott. It is an amazing town, and it's been a weird couple of years for the Whiskey Basin Trail Run, so I wanted to sit down with you today and talk a little bit about what this year's race is going to look like. It is a bit of a return to the olden times, the good old days. I know this event is relatively new. I think we founded it in 2016.
Yep.
And here we are again. We had, a couple weird years. We moved the event to the fall one year.
We did. Yeah, I think it was I guess it was 2020, right? So in 2020, it was right at the height of COVID, and we, in April, kind of took a hiatus and pushed whiskey to the week after Javelina, and then in November, and that was an incredibly cold year, and we actually had a reroute that year, and then we kept that reroute in 2021 as well. But this year we are going back. So the incredible thing about this race is that the majority of the events, the 90K, 60K, 30K, they're all on the Prescott Circle Trail, and they're featured point to point. And so they're all like little sections of this Prescott Circle Trail, with the 90K, of course, then circumnavigating the entirety of the trail. So
yeah, and that's been the whole reason for creating this event, is to utilize this amazing trail that goes around the entire city of Prescott, incorporating so many diverse areas, and it's a return to that this year.
Exactly.
So, what I love about the longest distance at this race is it changes a little bit year to year. So the distance is always fluctuating. The first year was 88K. This is one of our videos on the channel from that first year.
Yep.
But it's been as far as 92K?
92K, I think.
And what is it
last
this year.
And this year I think it's back to 90K or 91K.
Yeah.
And really the reason for that is because the Prescott Circle Trail is ever evolving. The Yavapai Trail Association are the ones responsible for creating and maintaining this trail. And so they are finding new routes and actually developing this trail every year, and so little bits get added or subtracted, and so I think we're down to 90K possibly this year.
Yeah, what was kind of cool about the last 2 years is we had got a chance to explore some new trails around Watson and Willow Lake, and like the Constellation trails.
Yeah.
While it was, I think, awesome, it's also, I think, really great to return back to the normal course.
For sure.
And that's like what we wanted to get across today. Is just have a little bit of a chat about what to expect this year. And we also, it looks like we're going to be doing some whiskey tasting.
Absolutely. We have to when we're talking whiskey.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do like a shot of courage first?
Yeah, well, maybe a sip or a shot?
I mean, like
a shot of courage.
Like a shot of courage.
All right, let's do it.
Are you sure?
Whatever you
want.
So
we're gonna start. So we're gonna start like all. So the lovely thing about all of these is they're all local to Arizona, but we're gonna start with the white whiskey, which is really just like a corn mash distilled, not in OJ like oak barrels. So I think this is gonna be the harshest, and then we'll kind of move along.
Work our way up, and we do have. We'll go through these. Let's just do it.
Okay. So the first one is Thunder Snow from Grand Canyon Distillery from Williams, Arizona.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a glug. Oh, that was probably an overpour. I feel like.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Could be. It could be. This could get interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice. And we've got some finisher glass here. Love it.
Yeah.
Cheers, cheers. All right, all right. We're shooting these.
Okay. That's warm.
Welcome to Arizona.
Whew. I don't know if I should have done that, but all right.
I mean, it's Happy Friday.
It
So
is
happy Friday,
Friday.
everyone. So yeah, Whiskey Basin. Where do we go from here?
All right. So basically the thing that I want to get across for this year is, one, in the last couple of years, we've gone to a 2-day format. This year we are going back to 1 day. So everything is hosted this year on Saturday, April 23rd.
And to note, originally we were going to do a 2-day event.
We were, yeah.
And I think we may do that in the future, potentially.
Well,
we're not sure yet.
So essentially, I mean, yeah, like we'll talk about it. We are, and I'm hoping to develop a 100-mile race at Whiskey Basin.
Whiskey 100?
The Whiskey 100, which not only features a majority, if not, I mean, like 98% of the Prescott Circle Trail, but also a little bit of the Cocodona Trail, and then combined, it's a lovely 100-mile race.
I am super pumped about this.
Yeah,
and I think that if we do add that 100-miler, the thought would be to have other events going on Sunday while the 100-miler's happening.
Right.
We didn't get that off the ground this year. Also, due to the Easter weekend and everything, things got a little bit consolidated. So, this year, unfortunately, Whiskey is 1 week before Cocodona,
right?
Which is crazy.
It's going to be a crazy
And
time.
also the Whiskey Off-Road Mountain Bike Race is the weekend pretty much of Cocodona. So as you are all arriving into Arizona for a Cocodona 250 this year, there's going to be people racing. Amazing bike race, by the way. It's part of the Whiskey series in the past, and I did it a few years back. It was so much fun. There was whiskey drinking on course, little pop-up stations, but people will be racing their mountain bikes all weekend long in Prescott, and then boom, Monday night, we're going to have people rolling through Prescott down Whiskey Row for Cocodona. So, I mean, Prescott is an amazing town of endurance and sports.
For
like,
outdoor sports.
If you've never been to Prescott, like, you've got to do a race there, whether that's the Whiskey Basin Trail Runs, which I think is the premier ultra marathon there.
Definitely.
Try out the bike races. The Whiskey Row Marathon is like a historic marathon in town. I mean, I recommend doing them all. They're so much fun. Do them all in 1 year.
And really just create a trip out of it, right? So go downtown Prescott and experience Whiskey Row. And there's so much history there. And one of the oldest bar, if not the oldest bar, is downtown Prescott. And then, just some incredible places
a lot of history,
to visit,
and it is a great place, especially kind of springtime this time of year. It's really awesome. So I think those are some exciting things coming up for Whiskey Basin Trail Runs.
Yeah, so that's why we would normally do like a 2-day, and I think maybe going forward we're going to create this whiskey weekend, right?
A whole whiskey weekend with
Prescott.
100-miler, basically, kind of taken over town for the entire weekend. But this year, due to Cocodona being right after it, logistically, we decided it was best to consolidate down to the 1 day. Yeah. So to kind of turn things around for being back up there the next week.
But I mean, it's exciting because we kind of, celebrate this year for whiskey kind of as a return to the original, right? So the race was founded in 2016. It started with the 88K, the 57, the 31, and then we did a 10K, and then later, a few years later, we added the half marathon, right? So the half marathon and the 10K circumnavigate the entirety of Watson Lake, and they trip through the dells
on part of the Cocodona Trail.
On part of the Cocodona Trail. They explored the Constellation Trails, which we talked about. Those are relatively new to the area, developed by the Yavapai Trail Association and the City of Prescott. And but the biggest thing is that the 90K, the 60K, and the 30K are going back to the Prescott Circle Trail, and they're all point to point. So it'll be really great.
Love it. Yeah, all classic races. And then I think, the introduction of the 100-miler, hopefully, how close is that to approval for next year?
So that's what we're working on now. what we're doing is we're having a biologist kind of look at that area, and then having that little extension approved for next year, which I think we should be able to get approval anytime. So for 2023, I think that's what we're going to anticipate.
Yeah, I think we're pretty optimistic because we're utilizing a decent section of the Cocodona Trail.
Right. Yep.
I'm just calling it the Cocodona Trail, the Cocodona Course, whatever you want to call it. We're trying to create something here. But basically, you're going to leave the Prescott Circle Trail, reverse on the Cocodona,
Right.
more or less, up towards, I think it's Mount Union, like
Yeah.
near Camp Kippa.
Yeah.
Utilize some of those same aid station locations and then wrap around coming in towards Lynx Lake. And you'll actually rejoin the Circle Trail. Is it less than a mile where you left it?
Like you miss, I think, less than a mile. I think you miss maybe like a half mile of the section, and it's right there at Senator Highway. And then you come back and connect, going on to like what we call Badger aid station. So like, it's
so
like,
we're talking single loop 100-mile
it's incredible.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I can't see that becoming popular at all.
Not at all, right? No, so I think
Sign me up.
Last year I took Fox on like a multi-day trip on the Black Canyon Trail, and I think I want to do the same thing for this 100 miles.
Ooh.
So like a preview of the 100-mile Whiskey Basin to kind of give everyone a little bit of a preview.
Love it.
Yeah.
That is we're both yawning. Fox. Good stuff.
Oh, Fox. You catching the yawns.
Should we move on to our next whiskey?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Should
are
we
you
do
ready?
this a little more of a sipper maybe?
Oh, this is going to be a sipper. So
Okay.
I really want you to enjoy the next two. I love partnering local to Prescott. I think Prescott has a lot of incredible local places to go. Superstition Meadery, and then Thumb Butte Distillery is one of my favorites. If you have time on Whiskey Weekend to go visit, they do tastings, they do tours. They do not just whiskey, but they also distill like a vodka, and then one of my favorite gins. It's a sage gin, and it's really incredible. So it brings in like the flavors of, the desert and all the desert vibes, right?
Yeah, we had a chance to do this with the Aravaipa racing team
Yeah.
a couple years ago. We went in for a whole tour and they did tastings of all the different types. And then it's really cool because they educate you on how they're making the whiskey and the
Right.
process, the
Yeah.
distilling process and everything, which is really cool. So what is this one here?
So this is the Bloody Basin.
Oh yeah, you're getting some healthy pours now.
Well, okay, so, what we do is if you do a single finger pour, it's to the mountains.
Oh, there we go.
And then a double is to the
To your
words.
quote line. Okay.
Yeah. So all the finishers end up getting these tumblers at the end of their race. So it says Whiskey Basin Finisher. And then on the back, this is what I use all the time. The only things that you should ever quit are cheap whiskey and making excuses.
Nice.
So
Cheers.
single.
Yeah, it's got more flavor to it than the. Nothing wrong with the Thunder Snow, but
No,
yeah, that's nice.
what you'll
And
notice
by all
is, like,
means,
yeah,
like you can use your glass for anything. No whiskey required.
100%, yeah. So I mean, it's just a really cool glass, regardless of what you put in it. But however you want to celebrate your finish, because that's what this is for, really. But yeah.
Man, since I'm not running Cocodona this year, I might have to join in on the festivities.
Have you ever run the? You have, right?
Well, I did Whiskey Man
You
series.
did the series.
I did it. 20. All the years
17?
run together. No, I think it was 18 or 19.
Okay.
It might have been 19, but I did Barkley that year.
Okay.
This was insane. I'm pretty sure it went Barkley Marathon's attempt, which did not go well. And like 2 weeks later, I had to toe the line at Whiskey Basin and do the 90K
series,
or whatever.
right.
So I ran that. I did the full 88K or 91, whatever it is, the full Circle Trail loop,
Right.
which I had never run before in one go. So I completed that. Then I turned around 2 weeks later to the mountain bike race.
And then 2 weeks
which
again.
is like the first time I think I had done
A mountain bike.
50-mile.
That was
like,
yeah.
That far of just a true mountain bike race. I've ridden my road bike 75 miles before, but
I do
like
remember
50-mile mountain bike race.
Shots on the course.
Oh God. Well, that I told myself, if I'm offered a drink,
yeah,
I will take it. And
Fantastic.
It ended up being 3 or 4, which isn't crazy, but when the fact that you are in the middle of doing a 50-mile race, an endurance race, and you're working,
and you have to stay balanced on a bike,
it adds up.
Oh gosh.
Well, and I remember like when Michael Versteeg did it, he had way more than I did.
Yeah,
he was like falling on his bike.
He's the champion,
and it was a little out of control. So, but yes, I did that, and then a week later, 1 week I think after the mountain bike race, I did the Whiskey Row Marathon.
Yep.
The next day, we left and did the Cocodona.
You are correct. Oh my gosh, that was
literally the next day.
Yeah.
200 miles from Rock Springs to Flagstaff.
To Flagstaff.
It was probably one of the dumbest 2-month stretches of my life, but also, I mean,
and that was when like the series was like you had to complete all of those within like a month's time. It was within 6 weeks.
That's the other thing that's kind of unfortunately happened because of COVID is it's really messed up the whole idea of the whiskey series, which started as the Whiskey Man series when Michael Versteeg did it the inaugural year. Plug the film on YouTube. Go check it out. But yeah, the whiskey series tied together those 3 endurance races in Prescott, which all happened within either 3 or 4 weeks of one another, depending on the year. So some weeks it was 3 weeks in a row. And I think when Versteeg did it, it was 3 weeks in a row, which is such a cool tie-in, like to do kind of like a hybrid paved road / dirt road marathon, to do an off-road mountain bike race, and to do a trail run around the whole town. You really get a sense of the town, and you feel like you're part of
even
something.
The area, just like the incredible offerings that Prescott has. Like it's this gem, just north of Phoenix that no one would know. And my dad actually, he visited Arizona for a few weeks and went up to Prescott, and then he texted me. He was like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but you guys should do a race up here in this place called the Granite Dells." And
Dad, I direct a race
and
there.
I was like, "Yeah, I think we should."
Great idea.
So I sent him the link. I was like, "Hey, anytime, just come on
awesome.
down."
So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, other than because of COVID. So the bike race was canceled 2 years in a row. So we were able to hold our race the last 2 years, but it was modified. One was in the fall, one was in the spring, and then the Whiskey Row Marathon was canceled, and then they've moved to a fall date permanently.
Yep.
So they're in October.
Right.
So yeah, the future of the whiskey series is a bit unknown right now. What's going to happen with that? Are we offering it this year?
We are not.
We're not offering it this year.
No, unfortunately.
So the bike race, you could do the trail run, then the bike race, then the marathon in the fall.
And the marathon in the fall.
So that's what it would be this year, but we're just not doing it.
No.
So sorry.
It's just not the same.
We will circle back, I guess, on the future of it.
I mean, there's developing races in Prescott is, I think, kind of endless. There's a lot of potential there. So, you know, we might develop our own series.
Hopefully a relaunch next year would be the goal.
We'll see what happens.
But tons of fun. So everyone coming out, we're really excited to be hosting you back on the original course.
Yeah.
They're all highly recommended any distance, but the full one is truly awesome. Might have to add it to my calendar. Let's see. So we're all on Saturday this year. Is there anything else to know just in general for people? I know there's just in general about the event, like camping options or where to stay. Is camping sold out for this year?
Yes, actually. So it's one of those things where, Watson Lake has several established campgrounds, and then we also have permission to host a little, like what they would call like remote, not necessarily remote.
Overflow?
Yeah, overflow camping. And everything is sold out this year. So, and that happens every year. So if you ever want to like
There's only, I
come and
think, 35
there's
real spots.
35 established spots, and yeah, so that sells out really quick every year. Just for a note, next, anytime in the future, if you do want to run whiskey, make sure you book a camping spot. But there's tons, so within the runner guide as well, there's tons of additional campgrounds within the area that are all 5-10 minutes away from Watson Lake. So,
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Yeah, if you're looking for free camping, there's the National Forest is like all over the far side of the course. So there's a lot of options. If you want to camp out for a few days before or after the race, you can go up into the National Forest section of the event.
Yep.
And there's just
if you want some
free.
established campgrounds, like there's White Spar Campground, which is actually on the course, on the Whiskey Basin or on the Prescott Circle Trail.
Yeah.
And yeah, the 92K rolls through there as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And then obviously there's lots of places to stay downtown.
Tons of places to to stay downtown. The Grand Hotel is a great one. So the runner guide that'll be published on the website, you guys can see, will have a lot of different recommendations as far as hotels and places to stay. Also, some of my favorite restaurants to check out throughout.
You want to talk about them?
Superstition Meadery is pretty incredible. If
I've never tried mead.
Have you never tried mead?
No.
I think maybe that's the next.
What is it?
So it is. It's fermented honey. So it's really sweet. It's not.
Do people usually drink it by itself, or are they like mixing it, or both?
Honestly, I drink it by itself. I think there are certain meads that are complex enough that they each have like a flavor range, and Superstition Meadery does that really, really well. So if you go to Superstition Meadery, you can get a flight of all the different kind of meads, and you should try that out.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like a nice stop on when you're running Cocodona. Just take a little side trip.
A little side trip to.
I feel like I talked about that last year before the race, and it turned out to be like a couple sips of beer at Crown King. And then I think someone gave me a shot of whiskey at 6 a.m. on Whiskey Row in the aid station.
And you took it.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
But I think that's where it ended. That was like, no more.
Is that kind of like your rule? Like if someone does offer you a shot on course at any time?
There happened to be someone that offered it at the last aid station of the Whiskey 90K when I ran it. So I did take one. I think I took a Fireball there.
So it is actually tradition. So there are the incredible thing about Prescott, Prescott and the Whiskey Basin is that there's tons of local support, right? So we have the Prescott Trail Runners who there's a lot of members who support and actually captain a lot of the aid stations at the Whiskey Basin Trail Runs. And one of them is the Northrops, who run Sundog Aid Station. And it's going to be your last aid station before the finish. And I think every year they've offered an array of shots. So whether you want to do Fireball and a little bit of a sweeter, like non-whiskey, or this year we will have some Butte up there as well.
Nice.
So.
I wouldn't say it's a defined rule for myself. I think it depends on the event, but definitely the spirit of the whiskey series for sure. I didn't see any whiskey offered during the Whiskey Row Marathon, but maybe that's for the best. There's enough pain involved with that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there too.
Yeah, the year I ran I've run it a couple times. That was my first marathon ever.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think back in 2005.
Like road marathon.
Well,
was
I
it
would
the distance
put
too?
road marathon in quotes for that race.
Okay.
But I guess technically it is, but it's a road marathon that has like 5,000 feet of climbing, I think.
Well, Prescott itself is really hilly and...
You're on road, like pavement for the first, I think, 4 or 5 miles, and then it turns to dirt. And you're on dirt for quite a while, and then you finish on the pavement again. So It's maybe only 10 miles of pavement. But yeah, the only other road marathon I've run is New York City.
Yeah.
Which is quite different. Quite a bit flatter. So.
How are you feeling about this? Are you a whiskey person? Like, do you like, would you?
So that's the thing.
On a regular.
So, like I was with Skylar at the running event, and I'm terrible at like knowing what my drink is, you know? Like if you just go to a bar and it's
Right.
like, oh, what do you want? I'm like, just like eyes glaze over, no idea.
Is it because like you haven't kind of experimented with different spirits?
Maybe not. Yeah, like
Um,
what kind of drink to order, you know? Like
Yeah.
especially if you're ordering like a cocktail. I've really gotten into mezcal.
Like, would you prefer like a straight spirit over cocktails, or do you like cocktails?
Yeah, I'll do cocktails for sure. I would prefer a cocktail probably.
So if it's
But like if I'm gonna drink a straight up spirit, it would probably be either whiskey or mezcal.
interesting,
Over what other ones would you even drink?
vodka or gin?
No,
Not at all.
neither.
No gin.
Just straight both of those. No,
So gin is really interesting, and I think
I could probably do some gin, but maybe I haven't done that very much.
I do think, as far as cocktails go, though, like whiskey makes some incredible cocktails, gin makes some incredible cocktails. I lean a little bit far away from tequila, I think only because I did too much
Killed
in
some
my
people.
20s. I don't know. It's fine. Memories. Or not.
I'll do some
yeah.
just mezcal. I don't say the word tequila. Mezcal would be preferable. For me, it's different.
I don't know how to take that. Like,
What?
like you're too good for tequila.
I just like the smokiness.
Okay. All right.
The smokiness
All right.
factor.
Is there like particular mezcal that you
I haven't tried enough of them to really know. We did go, like at the running event, we went to some ridiculous bar that had the best cocktails ever. I don't know what I drank, but
Okay.
it was it's pretty good stuff.
I feel like you need to come downtown.
So there is there's like a mezcal bar that opened up called Barcoa that I really want to go to. The same guy that opened one of the restaurants at the Churchill, the Mexican one.
Yeah.
He opened this mezcal. I don't know if they call it a mezcaleria. No, that can't be right. It's basically all mezcals,
Okay.
but it's called Barcoa. And then I just saw there's a new place opening up. Ooh, it has donkey in it, but I don't remember the name offhand. But it's like tequila, mezcal drinks, and like kind of whole like Latin inspired foods and drinks.
Interesting.
It looked very cool. The
Okay.
branding looked awesome.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Or just yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, downtown Phoenix is popping off,
Oh, it's incredible.
as you know.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
And definitely like they have a lot of different like speakeasies and bars for like creative cocktails and
Yeah.
all the things. So
I'm sure you can run up pretty high taps.
100%.
Yeah.
My sister was just in Phoenix over the last couple of weeks, and whew, I took her to all the places, but it was yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So as far as drinks, yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out my go-tos.
All right.
What's your go-to?
I do like an old fashioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll drink an old-fashioned. It's not my top choice.
I mean, I think so. It kind of varies, right? So there's a lot of different places that have their spin on old fashions, and so it all kind of like varies just a little bit, and I don't know. It's kind of interesting to kind of take a tour on what an old fashioned is, but
Sure.
Yeah,
Because it's
you
kind
can
of
do it
it's a
right.
classic,
yeah,
and so
Yeah.
what can you do with that?
right.
Nice.
Are
We'll
you
be
ready?
serving old fashions at the finish line of Whiskey Basin.
So I actually I would like to work with either I don't know
Thumb Butte.
some butte or a bartender of some sort to create a whiskey signature drink. So a Whiskey Basin Trail signature drink. And I don't know what that's going to entail, but
Like this will be available at the race, or you'll have to go into Thumb Butte to
Well,
enjoy it.
so I do want to actually do whiskey tastings officially. So normally we do have we'll have a beer garden sponsored by the Yavapai Trail Association.
Yeah.
But I do want to bring in Thumb Butte on site to have tastings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen this year?
We'll see.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Do we still have room in the race?
100%. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So there is capacity. You can still join us.
Yep.
April
23rd.
23rd this year. A week later than we would like it. So hopefully we'll be back to the middle of April next year going forward.
So for 2023, I think it's around the April 15th, which is usually that's typical. It's like the second week of April.
Yeah, second week of April. It gives us a little bit of room before Cocodona, so you can double up if you want.
Yeah. Are you ready for the last one?
I mean, no.
Yeah. Okay? Come on now. So I do want to say, like, the rodeo.
I'm gonna need like a splash of the rodeo rye.
The rodeo rye and the Bloody Basin usually are our top prizes for the Whiskey Basin Trail Run. So
winners of all races,
so
get a bottle
for the podium, because it's sponsored by Thumb Butte. The top male and female of each distance, all the way from 90K to 10K, will walk away with a bottle of whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Racing for whiskey. Okay, so I got to do this. I got to race this down to hatch. I'm gonna need like literally a splash of that. That's all I can handle.
Just a splash. So
it's gonna be a rough day.
It's gonna be a good day. So we've got the bourbon, and then this is a rye, and the difference between the two is the rye is fermented with rye grain instead of corn.
The whole thing, or do they just add a little bit of rye?
No. So like with bourbon, it has to be a certain percentage of corn over all the other grains, and rye is predominantly rye.
I love that they like hand write the batch on here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
it makes it feel very like authentic and local.
Yeah. And it is that. I appreciate. So if you go through kind of you run the gamut of all of their different spirits, they have like a Crown King whiskey. They have a Bloody Basin.
There is,
a bourbon, right? So it's all kind of like these local and then true to Arizona.
Oh man, that smells very different.
Different than the bourbon, right?
Way more intense. That's why you saved it for last.
Yeah.
I think reading on the back, it talked about like juniper, sage or something.
So they do use like local ingredients, and especially
totally
like in their gin, they use
pinyon pine campfire, a sweaty horse.
A sweaty horse.
Sagebrush. They talk
actually, no, that is.
This does smell like sagebrush.
Okay, so that's actually a thing. I actually learned this wine
whoever
tasting
wrote this copy is killing it.
Is crushing it.
Mystique of the West, craving the smell of sagebrush after a summer rain. I'm getting that vibe here. The appeal of a sweaty horse, or the snap, crackle, and pop, or no, just snap and crackle of a pinyon pine campfire.
So I did learn in wine tasting, like the tasting wheel.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
it's like cheers in the audience.
No, I didn't do that right.
It's this. Closer. Yeah, they'll appreciate that.
Sure.
So go ahead.
So I learned on the tasting wheel that horse sweat is a note, like a tasting note.
Who's tasting that?
I don't know.
People.
I don't know.
Let's talk about this.
I feel
it's like a note.
It is
for whiskey or wine.
For wine, but like it's a like.
I also feel like I've heard of like fresh cut grass is also one, isn't it?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe no. I don't know.
It feels like it's like a Jelly Belly.
Oh,
like the weird flavors of Jelly Belly. Like, oh, we got horse sweat and we got cut grass and we got burnt popcorn and pinyon campfire.
Every
smoke.
Flavored beans. Yeah.
All right. It smells nice.
I do. I think this is one of my favorites, honestly. So if you end up coming to Whiskey Basin and you get the rodeo rye, I think it's one of the.
It's more intense.
Really? I think it's the smoothest one.
Bloody Basin's interesting. That used to be a race in Arizona.
I know. So when serious. So when
Yeah.
I first got into trail running in 2012,
Don't date yourself here.
one of the first races that I looked up, one was Elephant Mountain, and the other one was Bloody Basin, but it was like way far east Arizona.
Well, actually, not so much.
But I didn't know that
Oh.
in my 2012 self.
Oh, so now do you know
Now I know.
where it is?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't know.
So
So Bloody Basin is actually just north on the I-17.
There's a Bloody Basin freeway exit on the I-17.
Correct.
And it's kind of paralleling the Black Canyon Trail.
Yes.
And it is in between Bumblebee exit and like Cordis Junction, where you would turn to go to the start Mayer High School. And Bloody Basin, if you turn there and you head west towards the Black Canyon Trail, you'll hit the old town of Cordis, which is like this really interesting. There's like it used to be a general store, and then you're right near Antelope Mesa, like a half mile away.
Okay.
You know about that, right?
I do.
Yeah. But if you head east, that heads into the Agua Fria National Monument.
Okay.
And they used to run, and this actually really makes me want to recreate this, and I feel like I'm going to have to do this now, so stay tuned. But they would run from Carefree, the town of Carefree, which is like the sister city to Cave Creek.
Correct.
Like right there.
Right.
They would run there on dirt roads to the I-17 Bloody Basin exit.
North.
Correct.
On the west side or the east side? The east side of I-17?
They would end there, yes. That would be the end of the race. So you would start, and you'd have to, it's like Badwater style. You'd have to have your own crew vehicle.
This wasn't the original race. Was it this?
This was the Bloody Basin 50. So the Bloody Basin 50 would start in Carefree, and you would end basically near the I-17. I don't know the exact start and finish lines. I'm sure we could look it up in like Ultra Running Magazine and talk to like Paul Benet.
I feel very sad for my 2012 self because
where did you think this was?
Well, because like for whatever reason I thought, that it was like this 3-hour like adventure northeast.
No, it's like right outside Phoenix.
And I was like in Scottsdale, I was like, no, I can't drive that far. That's way too far.
But I don't think this event has been held since like I got into the sport. I think like maybe 07, 08, it possibly was still held with like 2 people or 3 people.
Oh my gosh.
It was never that big. It was like a fat ass basically. And then one year there was they called it the Bloody Moon 100. So they held a 100-mile race, and it was an out and back.
I'm going to question that name.
Well, it was under a full moon, and it was the Bloody Basin 50 course doubled. So I'm like, I don't know.
Like it.
No matter what you feel about it, it did happen.
Yeah, I have feelings. I have feelings about Bloody Moon. Get out of here.
Yeah. So in related news, there's going to be a series that we're going to be starting. And it's going to be, we're going to take an Ultra Running Magazine issue, because we have basically every issue from 1981 till today.
That's true.
And we're going to pull out an old issue, and we're going to sit down, and we're going to drink some whiskey, and we're going to talk about the issues.
Clearly we have
We're going to talk about our issues here, our Ultra Running issues. That could be the name of the show.
Issues?
Ultra Running Issues 1981.
Brought to you by
Jam and Jubes.
Whoop!
This is getting good. Bloody Basin 50. I would like to do it.
I
would
so
like to
I
run.
am curious because it is one of the first races for whatever reason. I don't know why.
How did you hear about it?
I have no
How
idea.
did you even hear about it?
I was Googling all the things and
like
I don't
Ultra
know.
Running
And
Arizona?
I came
Arizona Road Racers website, basically?
something. No, not even. Like I landed on a photo of this guy who was absolutely in utter pain. In a photo, and I clicked the photo and it said Bloody Basin 50.
Yeah.
And
It's probably Paul Benet.
I don't know. It might have been. And I was like, oh gosh, that looks terrible. I would love to run that. And it didn't exist.
I need to do this before the summer, I feel like. I'm just going to I'm going to find out where it started and ended, and I'm going to have a crew. You want to join?
100%.
Get some photos?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
We're going to start in Carefree,
Okay.
and I'm going to run to the I-17.
Let's do it.
Sounds like a great idea.
Fox, are you in?
And we should do it like ASAP.
100%.
I could run 50 miles like right now.
Let's do that.
Actually, I was laying in bed with
Okay.
my son, and he had a field trip to the World Wildlife Zoo, which is like near the 303, I think. Maybe it's the 101.
No,
It's like
I
on the
think
west side of town.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like, and I don't know that it's the best well-run zoo in Phoenix area. Like, anyways,
Go on.
field trip there. He's so excited. He's like, how many minutes is it till morning? We're like it's like 8 p.m. We're laying in bed. First off, I said, how long until morning? I said, it's about 8 hours till morning. We have to get up at like 6. He's like, how many minutes? So I just told him how many minutes it is. And then it somehow evolved into like, he said, how far is it? Like, how far, in terms of like, how many miles would you have to run? How much time would that take? Like, that's his sense of how long something takes, is like, how many miles do I or my dad have to run?
Oh, that's incredible.
And so I was like, probably 50 miles, like 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So he's like, can I go lay on the couch and you'll run 50 miles on the treadmill so then morning will come
when you know,
and then I can go to my field trip.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
So it's like, he's like, let's go.
This concept of time is
he's like, you
is
go
running
run 50
miles.
miles, and the faster you run 50 miles, the
faster I can go.
sooner I will get to go on my field trip. I almost did it. It would have been pretty funny.
That's
but
precious.
Instead, we just fell asleep.
That's adorable.
So
So
cut. Bloody Basin, but I do think that we need to do that.
I do agree that we should do Bloody Basin.
We should, definitely pick a date for that.
One last thing about Whiskey Basin
Circling back.
this year,
Yeah.
is that for the first time, we're live streaming the race.
Oh my God, we are doing that.
Yeah. I'm super stoked. I think so. And if you haven't been to Prescott, then please find your way up there, because the variety of landscape that you get within 55 miles of this Prescott Circle Trail, like, it's high desert, so you're up a mile, right? You're sitting at 5,500
Mile High
feet.
City.
Mile High City.
But it starts, the overlook of the finish line, I think, is the most beautiful
Oh my gosh.
start-finish line in ultra running.
100%. So it's Watson Lake, and it's surrounded by
You can see part of it. These
the
are
granite dells, and they're so unique, and it's so incredible. And
they look like they were manufactured, like it's a part of Disneyland.
Oh, it's incredible. So the 10K and the half marathon actually get to venture through this maze of the granite dells. But this is the background of the start finish at Whiskey Basin at Watson Lake. And then the 91K, gets this incredible journey around like high desert.
It's like high desert
pines,
grasslands for the first
juniper.
10, 15 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Then you're heading up into ponderosa pine forests.
Yep.
For 30 miles
At least.
probably. Incredible views above the city.
Yeah.
And then
You get a kind of a, was it Thumb Butte in the background?
Yeah, Thumb Butte, to me, Thumb Butte is, which
Like,
obviously
that's-
Thumb Butte Distillery.
That's
it's
the
like,
iconic.
yeah, like you can look anywhere you are in the city, you can see Thumb Butte,
Yeah.
and you can orient yourself to that. So as you're moving throughout the day, you're always like looking for Thumb Butte.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, there it is. Now I'm behind it, above it, around, and I can see it. And I was like, I was all the way over there looking at it that way. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So we're going to live stream this race this year, and it'll be,
Love it.
hopefully we can kind of capture a glimpse of all the exciting.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, the landscape here.
Very excited. All right.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I now want to go research the Bloody Basin 50 and like schedule it. Like I want to put the date down.
100%. If you do this,
I want to do it ASAP because I need to run 50 miles.
I need to shoot it.
Yeah.
So
It just sounds like a great story in the making.
let's bring it back.
All right.
Cheers.
Well, thank you.
Hey, thanks
Thanks, everyone. I finished my whiskey, my rodeo rye. We hope that we will see you out at the Whiskey Basin Trail Runs 2022 and the inaugural Whiskey 100 in 2023.
Yes.
It's a tough one because I feel like I'm either going to run Cocodona I'm going to do Whiskey 100 next
You
year.
got to do Whiskey 100. I'm going to make the decision for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2024, maybe Cocodona again. Let's do it. All right. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Aravaipa Trail Talk. Let us know what you think. If you want to see more of this. And what did we call it? Ultra running. What did we call that? The magazine thing. I already forgot it. I'm going to have to look at the clip.
Issues.
Ultra running issues.
Ultra running issues. Stay tuned. We're bringing it to you.
Ultra running magazine deep dives from the 1980s.
Dude, I got to do
beyond.
it. Like, I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going to join in on it?
100%.
All right. You're my co-host. Let's do it. Ultra running issues. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.